Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to come with me to enter the time machine right now. Come on, look, we have arrived. Take a look to your right. Many children and teenagers are shunned by society. They are disoriented, and why is the situation so chaotic? And look to your left. They seem to be very stressed. Why are they fighting? Why are they gambling and even taking drugs? And wait, what is the girl doing? Is it trying to abort her womb? How do we start it right now? And what light is it above? Take a look up. Why are the people we're seeing so much different? Some of them are successful, and you see what they're holding in their hand is a key? Well, let's find out later since time is up with our potentiality. Well, the honorable judges and also the audiences who are watching this video, my name is Karenina Antoni from Sederajat School and Seputih Banyak. Now, let's think about what cases they have experienced that lead them to such a very severe impact. Well, you must have known the answer. Yes, promiscuity. Then what about the changes they have experienced just now? And what if the big change really happened? That all children affected by promiscuity in this developing country? It may appear to be impossible for the first time. However, let me tell you, this is possible. This is where the power of the education, innovation, and the government project take the place. Some of you might wonder about the main question in the speech. How does promiscuity affect the younger generation? Well, to answer that question, I want you to close your eyes for a couple of seconds and imagine one of the cases that happened in our country. Reported from data from religious courts at an area in Indonesia, noting that there were at least 47 junior and senior high school students who were pregnant and dropped out of school. This piece of research was released in 2016. Today, it's 2022. 6 years later, can we say how much has changed? It is heartwarming that this next generation is undermined by things that should not have explored. Ladies and gentlemen, the causes of promiscuity among the younger generation are certainly closely related to the digital era. Why do I say so? If we take, for example, this era of digital and globalization can be called a double-edged sword, which can be both a friend and a partner. Information technology was originally created to make it easier, but behind it danger lies threatening our children's future. On one hand, the freedom of information currently enjoyed by this nation is very useful in increasing people's intelligence. On the other hand, it causes damage to the moral of this nation, which is also uncontrollable. They often use this tool to find a partner and those who tend to engage promiscuity easily. Furthermore, the low social and economic status of women and the high level of ignorance about sex make them particularly vulnerable to abuse, sexually transmitted diseases, and also reproductive tract infections. Compared to adults, they have a high risk of developing sexually transmitted diseases, especially chlamydia, syphilis, herpes, gonorrhea. It is claimed to be due to increasing cervical involvement, which makes it more susceptible to infection. Then, what about the impact on their mentality, Karen? Well, the psychological risks include cognitive disorders such as anxiety and depression and substance dependence. In addition, adolescent promiscuity is associated with substance abuse and clinical depression. Ladies and gentlemen, the impact of promiscuity is devastating because it does not only affect adolescent physical and psychological risk, but also to the social and economic cases. Let's take an example of a case related to social and economic impact. In sub-Saharan Africa, for example, studies have shown that teenage pregnancy possesses significant social and economic risk, especially since it forces young women from very low-income families to leave school to have children. This disruption of primary education poses lifelong and cross-generational risk to those involved, leading to physical risk and drug use. Imagine how many younger generation will fall into the circle of promiscuity by the end of the year, in the next year, in the next decade, if we do not take immediate action in focusing on prevention and overcoming it. Ladies and gentlemen, I was reminded of a slogan that said, "The younger generation is the vanguard of a change in Indonesia. Nowadays, the defense of our country is not just towards an attack of weapons or bomb, but that of different forms such as by culture of promiscuity. So promiscuity is the tool to destroy a country now. Cybersex, drugs, drinking, gambling are no longer taboo for today's youth. If the younger generation is engaged in such thought and comprehension of understanding it, how about this country in the next 20 years? Somehow, moral harm caused by free association is an impossibility that must be addressed immediately. Otherwise, human life will be destroyed. Then, what can the government and we do to deter and overcome promiscuity? Well, I got a brilliant solution. First, providing an alternative or supportive activity is the first way to deal with promiscuity. Another activity that serves to undesirable behavior is supporting activity. Adaptive activities involve interacting with people, humans, or animals, and their main objective is to reduce promiscuity. Environmental care activity, such as becoming volunteer for the environment, gardening in small spaces, generating waste, and so on. So, this activity are supporting activities related to fostering environmental citizenship. Environmental care activities are not only a supporting activity that fosters the characters of ecological citizenship, but it can also enhance the characteristics such as loving and caring for the environment, responsibility, moral commitment, cooperation, and also an attitude of volunteerism. Secondly, there have already been many government-created solutions, such as BKKBN has carried out for adolescents. The genre, adolescent generation, or in Bahasa Generasi Remaja. This program was developed in the context of preparing and planning for adolescent to planning a family life. Then the next program is to form an Adolescent Information and Counseling Center, or PIKR. This program provides an access to information, training, and counseling about family life planning for adolescents, or PKBR. In addition to BKKBN, the Ministry of Health through the Directorate of Family Health has an Adolescent Reproductive Health Program policy. This program including establishing Puskesmas Peduli Kesehatan Remaja or PKBR, School Health Business or UKS, Posyandu Remaja, and also counseling services face-to-face and online. To suppress the spread of HIV or AIDS, the Ministry of Health has also a stop movement, which are Suluh, Temukan, Obati, and Pertahankan. Well, in conclusion, the impact of promiscuity is devastating. It's not only affecting to adolescent physical and psychological risk, but also to the social and economic risk also affected. And in order to fix it though, I have a solution and innovation. It is ecological citizenship, which have two main goals. The first one is to address environmental problem and also promiscuity problem, and also the second is to reduce promiscuity. Then also we have to take part to the government program, which is PIKR, PKBR, BKKBN, and also following a stop movement, which is Suluh, Temukan, Obati, and Pertahankan. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you something. Referring to the question at the beginning about why the younger generation is holding a key. So I think I know the answer. They hold a key because this key become a tool to open the door out of the fear of promiscuity. The key is the result of their effort for fighting promiscuity for the sake of bright future for every aspect. And now our mission is to find a key to stopping these cases, just like what they did before. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to stop promiscuity cases? Do you want the youth generation drive this country a thriving nation? So let us all start to prevent and overcome the rest of this case. Remember, a Japanese quote says, "Life is a gift, and life gives us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to become a better person." I'm Karenina, thank you.